There we go. Let's start recording. Get this going and share from there. Fabulous. So my name is Barbara Cox-Lovesy, and today we are going to be talking about fueling for success. So let me tell you a little bit about myself so you can get an idea of how I got into nutrition in the first place. So I was Canadian champion skater. I ate absolute rubbish, lived off of Snickers bars, didn't drink any water, and unfortunately my amazing career finished when I was 18 years old. And I went into the world of nutrition after that to inspire and educate and motivate everyone in performance nutrition. So I work with top athletes and top business people who need to perform on a daily basis to make sure they have the energy, the mental clarity, and their body sort of working in harmony with everything that they want to achieve. So my background is nutrition. I'm the author of 5 books, which I'll go through afterwards. And I'm actually based here in Bournemouth, which is amazing. But I do work all over the world. So I am actually your European representative on the Global Wellness Council. Oh, let's hope it's going to move. Oh, yeah. Okay. So as you can see, I've written Rainbow Recipes, Teach Yourself Aromatherapy, Motorsport Fitness Manual, Eat to Be Fit, and then my new series, which launched this year, which is Revamp Your Wellness. So, again, the credentials are there to help you get some great little easy tips. Don't worry, I'm not going to make it super complicated today. Some really easy tips for you to put in place straight away. I think the great thing is that I ran my own company called NutriChef. It was a healthy meal delivery company, and we would produce a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner and deliver it throughout the UK. We also had a product range that sat in supermarkets, from healthy vegan flapjacks and supplementation. And so I really sit on this amazing edge of having my own business, having a staff. We only had 45. We're not as big as the company that you work for, but I do understand around supporting staff in health and wellness and making sure that they are feeling fantastic. And, I also understand that people bring the whole self to work. And I love to be able to support that in many, many different ways, and have gone on to work with lots of other companies in the same. So hopefully today you're going to get some fantastic tips on how you can fuel for success. And remember, once I stop sharing at the end, I will take all your questions, because as you can see, we've only got an hour and I've got loads of stuff to fit in, and I speak quite quickly anyway. So stop me when you can. When I'm presenting, I can't see the chat box, so I'll get to those afterwards, which would be great. Super. So without further ado, let's go into the amazing steps. So first of all, I want to talk about the Wheel of Wellness. This is where I start with a lot of people, because it's really quite interesting. Now, when we're trying to change something, like, for example, we're trying to increase our productivity, or we're trying to get some more energy, I look at these 10 areas of wellness to make sure that when you implement something new, you're actually implementing it in a way that is a holistic view. Number one, gives you a 360 sort of implementation strategy on anything to do with health and wellness. Because I'm not for you just taking the points away and doing a little bit here and there, and for the motivation to fall off, and in a year's time you're having to implement the same strategy yet again, if that makes sense to you. I'm all for giving information and implementing in a well-rounded way that creates space for all the new healthy wellness things that you want to introduce in your life. And so I use the Wheel of Wellness. So these 10 sections: health, family and friends, wealth, romance and significant other, personal development and growth, your environment, that can be internal and external, fun and recreation, mental health, community, and fitness. All are parts of a wellness wheel that have to roll smoothly. So if you want to do like a quick survey of where you're at in each these sections now, what you can do is think of this wheel as each section or pie of the wheel having a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being high. And so when you're down at 0, maybe not everyone's in 0, but let's say you're in the health section, you're at a 5. In the friends and family section, you're at a 6. In the wealth section, you want to create more wealth or budget more. Maybe you're down at a 3. And work your way around the wheel. Fun and recreation. When was the last time you put an hour worth of fun in your diary? What recreational things are you doing that help either your mental health or your physical health? So you want this wheel rolling smoothly is the goal, okay? So you're doing equal activities in each. That is how you build true wellness, is fitting each one in these sections. Now today, in this presentation, I'm speaking in the health section, although one of my specialists, obviously as a nutritionist, but I specialize in epigenetics. And epigenetics is the messaging that sits on top of the DNA that can sway how you're feeling, and it will sway each one of these pies of the wheel. So what's fascinating is what we want to do is make sure it's even more important that those external messages to your DNA are in all of these sections. Okay, so let's get in. I'm going to give you 10 points to boost your energy, boost your productivity, boost your immune system, and to actually alleviate some of the symptoms of any sort of mental health as well. So drinking water might seem really super simple, okay, but it is one of the first places to start. And links absolutely everything in your body. As you can see from this fantastic little image here, even your teeth are 10% water, which is kind of crazy. But if your full body on average is around 75% water in intercellular water, then the impact of dehydration on those brain cells can really sway and give misinterpretations of what the brain is trying to tell us. Okay, so we want to get back into the intuition as well. So sometimes your brain, or you might think that you're hungry when in fact you're thirsty, because we're misinterpreting all of those actions. So as far as drinks are concerned, we do definitely need to have a well-rounded hydration strategy on a daily basis. Now, we all know the good hydrators, right? Which is water. So I always have my glass of water here sitting at my desk. And yes, they can also be herbal teas. You can have a slice of lemon. You can have a slice of ginger in there, whatever you actually like. We love the good hydrators. We want to be aiming for 1.5 to 2 liters of water a day in between your meals. This is what's really important. Again, we're going to be working on your intuition of how you're feeling. So if you're drinking and eating at the same time, when you drink water, when you eat, you actually dilute the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, which helps break down the food, and you're diluting those digestive enzymes. So let your body do its bodily processes at the same time. So try to have water 20 minutes either side of the meal if you can, okay? And then this gives the time for the body to do its own thing within the digestive system as well. We're not diluting anything, but what it also does is send those correct messages to the brain, so you will now understand why you're hungry, or when you're hungry, and when you're thirsty. So you won't mindlessly snack and misinterpret those messages. So, you might want to also start your day with hot water with a slice of lemon. It's very, very cleansing. We wake up very dehydrated and in an acidic state, and it instantly moves it to an alkaline state as well. I'm not talking a lot about acid alkaline balance today, but it is definitely a factor. Now, also, I've got a coffee here, okay? And I love my coffee. Being Canadian, we hibernate for 6 months of the year, getting into hibernation now that the weather's turning cold. Although I live here in Bournemouth, I think I still love my coffee. We're the biggest coffee drinking nation there is. And so would I take anyone's coffee away? Absolutely not unless I have to. So when we look at bad dehydrators, you need to limit these. Okay, so you know what? Two coffees a day is absolutely fine, but make sure on top of the 1.5 to 2 liters of water that you're having, that you're canceling these out. Your baseline is 1.5 liters of water. When I have a cup of coffee, I also cancel that cup of coffee out with an extra glass of water. Cheers, everybody. So you do definitely need to do that. Now, sodas and, Cokes, 7-Ups, all those kinds of things. Look, I don't even have those in my diet at all. They are an absolute no-no. But again, if you feel you cannot live without these, then you do need to make sure that you are, again, canceling those out. They do not belong in the 1.5 liters of clear water fluids that help your intercellular water. Now, tea's alongside the same as coffee, and alcohol is super dehydrating. So you do definitely need to watch your alcohol intake at all. Look, if you can jump onto one of the campaigns, I'm not talking too much about drinking alcohol today, but if you want to jump on a lot of the campaigns, Sober October, Dry July, all those kinds of things are really, really great. Pull yourself out of your comfort zone and try some non-alcoholic alternatives, because your cells will really thank you for it, as well as your energy production the following day as well. You also need to know the signs of dehydration. And this is quite important because we don't often look at that self-diagnosis of our wellness strategies. And this is a really good one. So again, your healthy wee is between the 1 and 3, should really be quite clear, unless you're taking supplementation. Now, if you're taking B vitamin supplements, you might be down at a number 6 and be a little bit fluorescent, because B vitamin supplementation are water soluble, so you will excrete those really quite quickly. So again, you need to know the signs, and if you creep into 4 to 8, you definitely are on the dehydrated side, and you could be chronically dehydrated. So make sure 1 and 2, I rarely try to get to 3. So this is a strategy you can monitor yourself, and it really is a fantastic idea, especially if you throw exercise in the mix here, which you do need to drink more when you're exercising a lot as well. Okay, food variety. This is, again, where it's at. Now, interestingly, I lived in Japan for 10 years, and I just loved all of their food variety that they had. I had a little interesting statistic for you here, is that in Japan, on average, they eat over 120 varieties of food a week. And the UK average is only 20 varieties of food a week. So I know that you are going to be having some amazing food baskets and fruit baskets arrive. So make sure that you choose something that you don't normally choose to increase your wide variety. So why do we need a wide variety of food? Well, your body needs 67 minerals and 8 vitamins every day just to survive. So the more variety of food that you have, the more chances you have of giving your body that variety that it actually really needs. A lot of the other times of why we choose the same foods is that we're on autopilot by the time we either order online our weekly shopping or walking down supermarket aisles. Rarely we'll put different things in, mainly because we know we like it. But I want you to walk down different supermarket aisles. I want you to do your meal planning. It's really interesting because, excuse me, I talk to a lot of clients. I mean, I've worked with over 25,000 clients in my career so far. So, I know on average people are not meal planning every week. And so they're going to the supermarket maybe with a couple of ideas, and then they get caught at the end of the aisle by the marketing of supermarkets. And, the 2-for-1s, the unhealthy stuff. And so it really can be very distracting going supermarket shopping. So I'm going to be talking about 10 amazing superfoods for your brain that I really, whoops, it's gone a little bit crazy here today, that I really want you to get these 10 foods into your diet, and I'm going to tell you absolutely why. Number one is avocados. So avocados are just an incredible whole fruit. They contain the omegas, which we'll talk about in the next slide. Gave you a sneaky peek there. But it's also good mood food. So, when we're in sitting at our desk working away, this is a fantastic healthy snack just to, keep in your suitcase, handbag or at your desk. Peel it open, put a little bit of lemon juice on it, and it's fantastic. And there's so much you can do with it from a versatility point of view, even if you want to cascade it into the family and make some beautiful chocolate puddings with it. Do you know what? I have some great recipes. My kids don't even know that it's there. I'm really, really good at hiding food. So I make a fantastic raw chocolate pudding with avocados that I blend in a blender. I add some raw cacao powder, and I add some other little bits and pieces, and it sets wonderfully, especially if you add a few ground chia seeds to that as well. So you can be really, really creative with what you do, but get back to planning. The next one is pulses. Now, pulses are a fantastic vegan option for a protein. I'm not vegan myself, but having 4 children who go through many different types of sports, as well as their own creativeness with different types of diets themselves to support what they're doing or causes that they're supporting at the time. We have full vegan meals just to get the variety in there, and pulses are amazing because the amino acids really support you from feeling fuller from longer. So, red lentils are great. Pie lentils are fantastic in a salad. You can make beautiful soups with them. Even if you do like a regular protein, meat or fish and lentils together, make beautiful curries and soups and stews. So, again, be creative, but make sure that you're getting them in there because they are super easy to digest. Really a wonderful protein, as I said, keeping you fuller for longer. So if you add them to your soups and you're having a soup for lunch, you're not necessarily going to get all the way to dinner time because you might need an afternoon piece of fruit, but that afternoon snack will be less for sure. Okay, let's take a look at nuts. Now, nuts are superb. Unless you're allergic to nuts, then please don't put nuts into your diet. But nuts and seeds, they both contain a component called tryptophan, which the body then converts into serotonin, and that serotonin is that feel good hormone that the body naturally produces as well. So I mentioned chia seeds before. Chia seeds are fantastic on your morning cereals, or again, making great things like overnight oats and that pudding that I talked about with the avocados as well. So for healthy fats and healthy proteins, you do need to be adding a handful of nuts and seeds. Now, what I love doing is putting on a baking tray a different variety of nuts and seeds. Remember, variety is the key here. So you want to add some different spices. I put a little bit of Himalayan crystal salt. I put some paprika. Sometimes I'll put some chili flakes or some garam masala, a little bit of olive oil, mix it all together, put it in the oven for about 10 minutes. You've made your own spicy seed mix that you can have, and it is just superb. I keep it in an airtight container, and I redo it every week, and normally with different types of seasoning as well, just so you don't get the menu fatigue. I want to talk about menu fatigue here because, again, when we eat the same things all the time, not only we are getting that same profile of vitamins and minerals, but we can actually turn ourselves off of food. And, that's what I call menu fatigue. And when we're not fueling the body the way it needs to be fueled, that's when all the junk food starts to creep in. We know to dump the junk. So if you flood your menu with great variety, then it just keeps the body interested all the time. So let's take a look at watermelon. Watermelon is a fantastic source of an antioxidant called lycopene. Lycopene is really good for the brain tissue. And again, we want to keep our brain active, that mental clarity going, and, shoot that brain fog straight out the door, okay? But watermelon is also fantastic if you're feeling stressed. So watermelon contains another antioxidant component that actually helps to reduce your blood pressure. And so when you're feeling stressed, obviously our blood pressure can shoot through the roof and it brings it down naturally. So the next time you're feeling stressed, or just get watermelon into your weekly shop and bring some as snacks, even if it's just once a week, whether you're feeling stressed or not. You could be missing that component, be put in a stressful position that your blood pressure shoots through the roof because you might be lacking in some of these antioxidants in the body. So oats are just so easy, so cheap, and you can do so much with these. It's my go-to breakfast. I love it. Not only do I make healthy flapjack bars out of this for snacks, but I'm a big overnight oat fan. So this wonderful grain is just super for lifting your moods in the morning because the fiber and the carbohydrates are low glycemic. So we're going to get a really nice hit of energy, but it's going to be sustained and it's not going to crash. So a lot of other cereals, like ready-made boxed cereals that you buy, they are higher glycemic, meaning they have more sugar in them and more added sugar in them. So you're going to get the energy peak, but you're going to get a crash. We want to avoid that at all costs. We want to keep our blood sugar levels even throughout the day so we are feeling absolutely fantastic and our energy levels are even. Now, going back to my skating days, the reason why my skating career finished is because I developed something called hypoglycemia. And hypoglycemia is when your blood sugars raise really quickly and then they crash. Because I was living off of Snickers bars. 30, 40 years ago, we were told, have a Snickers bar or a marathon bar, I think you call them here, to raise your energy. This is absolutely untrue and proven to be untrue. Those kind of snacks will play havoc not only with your waistline, okay, but with your blood sugar levels. And we do not want sugar feeding any nasty rogue cells in the body that can lead to the diseases of civilization. That's cancer, heart disease, diabetes, all of those kinds of junky foods lead to that. These good superfoods not only fuel the brain, but they fuel the body the way they need to be fueled. So my next one is sweet potato. Look, I've got nothing against regular potatoes at all. I love potatoes. You don't want to be having too many of them though. And again, we want that food variety in there. And sweet potatoes are superb. So the next time you want to do a sweet potato, then a baked sweet potato goes all beautiful, crispy, and caramelizes as well. But it packs your body with vitamin B. Now, vitamin B, again, converts to serotonin, that feel good hormone in the body, and we want those feel good transmitters turned on in your brain so you are just feeling Absolutely, 100% all the time. You know, sweet potato curry, sweet potato soups, baked sweet potatoes, sweet potato fries. You know, look, get creative. And, you know, hopefully I'm making your mouth water because we're getting to lunch soon as well. The next one is broccoli, one of my favorites. So one of the books I wrote, which is Rainbow Recipes, and of course my new series, Revamp Your Wellness, has over 300 recipes. Broccoli is a big, you know, recipe builder in there because it's fantastic for your health. It is packed with the most incredible nutrients that can help boost your immune system. Of course, going into winter now as well, we want to keep our immune system as high as possible. But what broccoli also does, it belongs to a group of vegetables that contain Indo-3 carbanols. Indo-3 carbinol is a group of antioxidants that will help denature excess estrogen in the body. And what this does, and again, there's a lot of estrogen drivers that will sway your hormones. So again, if you're looking to reduce any hormonal issues, you know, perimenopausal or hormonal driven cancers, then you do need to be looking at all the foods, broccoli included, that contain these Indo-3 carbanols. My final one on your shopping list, and I hope you're going to put them on your shopping list, take a screenshot of this or watch the replay, is beetroot. My goodness, I do loads with beetroot. Again, one of my recipes in Revamp Your Wellness is beetroot brownies. Again, I hide it from my kids and they taste absolutely fantastic. I make a regular brownie mix and I grate some raw beetroot in there. It disappears into the cacao color and actually adds that richness and sweetness as well, because beetroot is quite sweet. But again, these have mood stabilizers in there and lots of magnesium. So if you're exercising, beetroot is great. Helps to remove that lactic acid from the muscles, as well as that magnesium fuels the muscles as well. And again, you know, it's just fantastic to go down that different supermarket aisle and add it in as well. So hope that you have those on your list. And let's take a look at our essential fatty acids. So we have our omegas 3s, 6s, and 9s, okay? All of these are good fats. If you flood the body again with good fats, you're gonna knock out all of the bad fats. So what's interesting is years we've been told, you know, watch your fat intake. And so now I'm telling you to eat lots of good fat, okay? But definitely watch the bad fats. So we've got omegas 3s, 6s, and 9s. We need to get double the amount of omega-3 to omega-6 and 9. And the only way you can tell this is through blood testing to check those levels. But on average, everyone who I have tested are low on omega-3s. So you really want to concentrate on getting more omega-3 into your diet, and this is the best way that you can do it. So the human body does not make its own essential fatty acids. We need to get this from our diet. Now, what's great is when we get all of these great omega-3 foods into our diet, it really helps our eyesight, okay? And we're sitting in front of computers all the time, but it really helps those communications between the eye and the brain. And also around our heart. Really, the omega-3s protects our heart and can discourage that plaque that comes onto our artery walls as well. So you really want to be getting these into our diet. And just to stress there, our body doesn't make its own. So I really want you to get your meal planning into having your salmon, your walnuts. Makes a great snack. Make sure you put that in your mix. Mackerel. You know, you can easily buy some peppered mackerel fillets that are already pre-cooked and put them in your lunch. You know, they're just simple things you can do. Flax seeds on your overnight oats. Tin of sardines, you know, having them in the store cupboard if you want a snack. I love toasted rye bread with tin of sardines. You know, I take out the bones in mine. You can leave them in. It's completely up to you how you like it. Smash it on the toast. What a super easy snack that actually is, and is really good for you. Now, seaweeds are fantastic. After living in Japan for 10 years, I love the taste of seaweed. So, again, you want to be adding that in there. But, you can hide seaweed in soups and casseroles. You can buy the nori sheets that they roll sushi with, and you can actually chop them up and put them into your soups and casseroles. I do it for my kids all the time. I hope my kids are never going to watch this because they're going to question what I'm eating or what I'm feeding them. But it is around how do you make every single mouthful you put in nutrient dense. That's going to fuel your productivity and have you feeling absolutely fantastic every day. Because that's my goal for people that I work with. I want you to create a home strategy that supports every single wellness goal you want to achieve. And by doing these simple points, you're definitely going to be able to do that. Olive oil is another one. Olive oil is a very clean oil. I do not like oils that are like vegetable oil, because you don't know what's in there, and they're highly processed as well. Chia seeds is another one. My favorite food. Play around with chia seeds, from again making desserts to putting them into your cereals. They really are superb. I talked about this before, and we do need to dump the junk. Look, we need to know that. And I'm going to bring in an 80-20 rule here, which is 80% really amazing. I'm talking amazing food here, okay? And 20% what you like within reason. Now, if you have one of the diseases of civilization, cancer, heart disease, mental health issues, diabetes, this number 4, you got to dump the junk completely. Okay, it's just part of it. These foods fuel disease. Yes, they taste great, unfortunately, but that's the way companies make foods, is to taste great, so you will buy it. That's how they make their money. There's so many studies on how sugar is so addictive, but how it also feeds a cancer cell. So, again, look, 80-20 rule. It's like I said, I'd never take your coffee away. And you know what? I still have a Snickers bar. Yeah, once a year. Actually, I don't think I've had one this year. I might have one for Halloween. And it's normally on Halloween, okay? And everything has its time and its place. It just isn't in a daily regime. Because when you talk about building your body, you need to be paying it forward. You need to be, what am I going to be like in 10 years' time? How can I prevent injury and disease in 10 years' time by fueling myself in a correct way now? And having it integrate in your lifestyle in a really easy way. Yes, I love going out for coffee to a cafe. And so that's wonderful. And I know to cancel out my coffees with more water. But it's really difficult to cancel out a big slice of cake, and especially if people are having a cake a day or some junk food every day. Please do some menu planning and put some thought into that. Build long-term health, because your body is where you have to live. So take care of it. Okay, so we know to dump the junk, and this is like super duper important. But let me give you some stats here. Sugar actually decreases those areas in the brain leading to depression. There is an absolute link. You eat sugar, and actually the way the body deals with it, it will make you feel depressed. You think it's going to give you an energy boost, but it doesn't. But it also raises your inflammation markers, okay? All of the junk food. Now, all disease, whether it be a common cold, or feeling anxious, or catching, I don't know, influenza. They all start with inflammation in the body. Now, you want to keep your inflammation as low as possible. Omega-3s really help reduce inflammation. All the foods on the superfood list, those 10, all help with an anti-inflammatory diet. So again, you don't want your body, having that inflammation. And another good way is actually making sure your gut is working as properly as possible. Now, I talk about intuition a lot because we used to have more gut feelings, right? And because we've messed up all those messages between the brain and the gut, 80% of our immune system sits in that gut area. So it's not surprising when you pull it out, your whole digestive system is going to reach from one side of the room to the other. And when we smash it all into our abdomen, it's no surprise that issues are going to happen. Okay, we're going to get IBS, we're going to get Crohn's disease, colitis, flatulence, bloating, all those kinds of embarrassing things that happen in an office, space that we don't want happening. So again, taking care of our gut is imperative. And these foods will really, really help. Okay, these gut healing foods are so easy again to incorporate and really, just mop up any issues that are happening there. I would say most people have gut issues at some point during a year. Simply adding sauerkraut. Now you can make this yourself. So easy to make sauerkraut yourself, or you can buy it. You're looking for live sauerkraut though, okay? There's some Middle Eastern Polish supermarkets that I go to that have the best tasting sauerkraut ever. And it's live and it's really good for you. Again, if I make a beautiful omelet in the morning, I put a tablespoon of sauerkraut with it. Again, those digestive enzymes will help my gut and will help me digest throughout the day. Pineapple is another one, really fantastic. Again, if you've eaten a really heavy meal, and you're finding it difficult to digest, let's say you've gone out for a meal and you've eaten late and it can be meat or protein based, having some live pineapple either when you get home or will help digest. It contains the digestive enzyme bromelain. Tinned pineapple doesn't work the same way. Sorry about that, okay? You need to have the live pineapple. Papaya works in the same way, has those digestive enzymes that really help. So if you have any bloating or you suffer from IBS, again, adding these foods will really help alleviate that bloating and those IBS symptoms. Fennel is another really good one. Fresh fennel in a salad, have it raw or even juice it, are superb. Fermented foods, the types of things, yes, sauerkraut is a fermented food, but there's also miso and cooking with miso paste, making a miso soup, putting miso as a flavoring in your, next time you make spaghetti bolognese is actually amazing, and just gives it that beautiful element and extra richness to it as well. Kimchi is another one. It's the Korean fermented pickles. They have a real spicy bite, but they're fabulous for your gut. So really taking a look at some gut support foods will help massively. We want to avoid artificial additives inside and out. Whoops, sorry. Loves to just skip ahead here, doesn't it? So, I don't know if you grew up with Smarties, but I certainly did. And of course, they removed the blue Smarties because of all of the artificial additives. And then, of course, we have the cosmetic industry that are putting a lot of chemicals. Now, we also used to think that our skin was a barrier, when in fact our skin is a carrier. So what you put on your skin and you use on your body is through the bloodstream and builds up those chemicals. Now remember, one of the specialty areas that I work in is epigenetics. All that messaging that sits on top of the DNA that can sway things in different ways. We really want to remove a lot of the chemicals in our diet. So chemicals give products an extra shelf life. So what's great is if you're having the lists from the 10 superfoods that I think, those will potentially have a few pesticides on there, but it's not going to have the chemicals. But if you buy a ready meal with those in, or a ready-made smoothie or something, then those chemicals will be there. So you know what? Get back to doing your own as much as possible. So you want to take a look at as reducing that chemical exposure in the home environment. You want to take a look at aromatherapy. Now, this is a real game changer for a lot of my clients, because they don't even look at aromatherapy. They're using the plug-in air fresheners, or they're using the reed diffusers that, just pump, again, chemicals in the air that we breathe all the time. Now, aromatherapy isn't just about pleasant smells at all. They can really help in certain instances. So again, it gives an array of physical, mental, and emotional health purposes within these. And I touch on those in the book I wrote. So for example, if you're suffering from anxiety, then you might want to take a look at ylang ylang or chamomile or even clary sage essential oils. And you can get the essential oils, which I've got one here, the essential oils, and you can just use them as a pulse point. And again, have that fragrance infuse around your nasal passages. Now, when I fly, I do a lot of traveling with my work. I'm working in both Italy and Germany this month, leaving next week. And so when I fly, I use a lot of aromatherapy for disinfecting as well, but you can still use it in that office workspace. But you can also take a look at how you can uplift the moods in different areas, not only of your home, but in an office environment, because it triggers these smell receptors in the nose. And then the brain will kind of click into action. So, again, you want to definitely take a look at those. I have my favorites, my lavender oils, my tea tree oils, again, neroli, orange, ylang ylang, sandalwood, jasmine, all of those. Investigate yourself if this is an area. If you're having trouble sleeping, I infuse lavender. Now, what I also have is I have like a little aromatherapy diffuser. Really easy. You just put a couple of drops on the top of the aromatherapy pad here. It's cordless. It's no noise. Turn it on. You can see the light comes on. What it does is a little fan actually in my own office area, so I'm not interrupting anyone else. Just gives me sort of an instant boost, especially in the afternoon. Want you to try to take a look at these areas. Again, think of the body as a whole. There don't have to be feminine scents, because I have a lot of male clients using this for masculine scents as well. The sandalwoods, the clary sage, the bergamots, all of those are really neutral scents. So let's take a look at reducing stress. This is a massive area, but again, it is part of fueling for success. I'm not just going to teach about food. I'm going to teach about everything, and reducing stress is one of them. Again, when you take a look at those brain chemicals in a stressful situation, that chronic stressful life situations can just, increase issues that we have in developing the diseases of civilization. And, we need to have coping mechanisms for that overwhelm and stressful situations that lead to other factors like depression and anxiety. And the links between stress and our physical and mental health are, enormous now. And again, we want to take a look at that. Now, it's not that stress is abnormal and bad. It's actually how you deal with the stress. So when you back up to the other bits of this presentation, they all amount to helping reduce that stress load by eating properly, by dumping the junk, by using aromatherapy, by exercising. Go back to that wheel of wellness as well. Everything compounds and is interlinked. And so it's taking a look at your holistic wellness and having it all interlink as well. So let's take a look at some ways that we can reduce stress. Obviously, we want to avoid those stimulants. You can have 2 coffees, but don't have 10. Everything within its limit. Watch the alcohol, massive stimulant and dehydrating. Being active. This is about having a habitual fitness program. Okay, not just a campaign for 2 weeks. Oh, I'm going to go on a fitness drive and I'm going to, go to the gym for 2 weeks every year. No, it doesn't work like that. These are habitual things that you need to be doing. Sleeping well, which I'm going to touch on as well. Sleeping well is incredibly important. Keeping a stress diary. When you're feeling stressed, write it down. Get it out of the head onto paper and ask for help, okay? From your friends and family, from your coworkers, from anybody. Managing your time is imperative. So, I talked in the beginning about taking a look in your diary, making time for wellness. And so many people say, oh, I don't have time to eat healthily. I don't have time to grocery shop. I don't have time to cook healthily. You need to manage your time so all the good things are in the diary to knock out the stress that's there. Honestly, it will help diffuse it in more ways than one. Definitely use aromatherapy. My oils here are oil combinations that I make up, and they are incredible. I have one I only have four different ones that I make up. One for my immune system for when I travel, or when I'm going, into other people's offices. One for calming situations. Use those in the office situation as well as, in my home. So my home is my sanctuary for my family to come in and feel this release of stress as soon as they walk through the front door, which is how I want you to treat your home as well. The other one is for sporting, and it really helps with sports. And then the other one is I use for escape. Yeah, I call it escape because I use that in, again, the office, but also for relaxation. If I'm doing meditation, if I'm doing Pilates, if I'm doing yoga, I like to use something like that. So again, incorporate it. It really could be your missing link. Laugh at yourself, have fun. Again, remember the wheel of wellness, and I talked about fun. Go out and have some fun. Make time in your diary for at least an hour a week of having great fun. Watch a funny video, anything. Number 9, learning to say no, and learning to delegate here as well. And that is really difficult because I'm a yes person, right? Someone says, oh, can you do this? Yeah, I can. But then sometimes I take on too much. So I can still say yes, but fit it into my own time, okay? And avoid procrastination. And you might think that that's, difficult with the saying no, but procrastination, it really induces stress because it's sitting there at the back of your head. If you have a to-do list that's, 10 long, then you need to be ticking off that to-do list and stop procrastinating around stuff because it uses mental space that can be used for something else, okay? So sleep is your superpower, most definitely. I've got some great ideas around sleep, but you need to understand sleep debt. Sleep debt is the amount of sleep you should be getting, okay, which is different for everyone, anywhere from 6 hours to 10 hours. The amount of sleep you actually get, all right, allows sleep debt. So if you're going for 8 hours, but you are not getting a full 8 hours sleep, you are definitely in sleep debt. There's no way you're going to have the mental clarity, the energy, the inclination, and all the bad things, the procrastination, all that kind of stuff starts to creep in when we are in sleep debt. So what can we do about it? You need to take a look at what is causing it. Are you always switched on? Is your phone beside your bed? Do you fall asleep with the TV on? Those electromagnetic fields are, in our Wi-Fi world that we live in, can keep people awake. So make sure that your room is a really low Wi-Fi zone. We don't allow phones. We don't allow TVs at our house in our rooms for that reason. Okay, you might want to retake a look at stuff. Poor eating habits. Are you eating late? Are you eating things that are difficult to digest? Are you having too much caffeine, too much sugar? You really need to keep a food diary and watch what you're having. Dehydration. How many times have you drank too much and you've woken up because you're thirsty? Yeah, but this happens all the time. So you need to have a hydration strategy for that. Food allergies can also keep you awake. It is absolutely incredible. And sometimes we don't even know we have a food allergy. Dairy is a big one. Wheat is another massive one as well. Too much caffeine too late. I allow myself 2 to 3 coffees, but I never drink caffeinated drinks after 3 in the afternoon because I personally know it affects, my energy, my regime. And I love a really good regime. The body loves consistency, so treat it with being consistent. Stress is another one. How many times have you gone to bed stressed, thinking about an issue? You wake up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because of something, and your brain instantly hones in on that topic. Again, get it out of the brain, deal with the stress, get it on paper. I have a notepad that is in my bedside drawer. And I have learned that I got to get it out onto paper and it's there. Or if I have a crazy dream or something, write it down, let the brain release it, and just, go. Illness is another big one as well. Illness can interrupt our sleep in many, many different ways, from a common cold and not being able to breathe properly down to stress and anxiety and panic attacks. They don't happen only during waking hours. They will happen during the nighttime as well. So again, taking a look at those and having a strategy. Lack of exercise or even over exercising. Again, this is why we need to be habitual with our regimes, and having a bedtime regime is a good one. Maybe stretching, maybe doing a little bit of massage if you've over exercised, just to release that lactic acid. Beetroot and cherry juice, those kinds of juices are fantastic to have before you go to bed, because again, they help relax the body, but will remove lactic acid at that time as well. So we've got our 7 points again. We want room, we want consistency. Go to bed at the same time, even on the weekend if you can. Please, please, please. It's so super important. We want our room environment great. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Do you sleep with the window open? Then is it noisy? Do you sleep with the curtains open, curtains closed? Do you have blackout curtains? All those kinds of things. Room environment. Do you use aromatherapy? Are there, electromagnetic fields whipping around? Do you have a bedtime relaxation routine? Mine is to have a bath. This is something that I did in Japan and got into a routine. They love their bathing. And what's really fascinating around bathing at night is that it raises your body temperature. And when your body temperature naturally starts to drop, your body produces melatonin. That melatonin kicks in and helps you relax and go to sleep. It's so simple, so simple. Put it into your regime if you want to have a better sleep. Stimulants, avoid the stimulants, no alcohol, on a weeknight. If you're having problems sleeping, it will affect your sleep. Same with caffeine. Exercise, find the right point, the Goldilocks point, right? Not too much, not too little, just right. And everybody is different. Fullness in meal times is another big one as well. Are you eating too late? Are you eating too early that you feel like you're still hungry before you go to bed? All these kinds of things. Taking a look at your nutrition. How are you fueling the body? If your blood sugar levels are all over the place because you're having junk food and sweets during the day, your blood sugar levels will be all over the place while you sleep, which is why diabetics have a massive issue. It's about having low glycemic foods, that your blood sugar levels are even, you don't have the peaks, you don't have the troughs, and you are fueled to sleep properly, as well as fueled for success. Supplementation, one of the most common questions I get asked all the time. So as your representative on the Global Wellness Council, I look at supplementation all the time. I look at labeling laws around supplementation, and I hate people being duped by supplementation that doesn't work. One of my work, I'm working out in Germany the end of the month with the Cologne list. Take a look at the Cologne list. I'm actually flying to Cologne in Germany, working with them because it's a certification for sporting supplements that prove that what's on the label is exactly what is in the capsule. And I used to be AFC Bournemouth's nutritionist. I'm a nutritionist for many Olympic athletes. So making sure that anti-doping and supplementation is at the top of my list. I will only use supplements that have the Cologne List certification, because the responsibility that companies have to the general public comes down to the company owner. And you know what? There are so many supplement companies out there trying to make a quick buck. You really need to know what you're having, okay? And here in the EU, it's not as regulated as you'd think it is. So my rule of thumb here, if your supplements are not on the Cologne list, do not buy them. Investigate. Again, it's your responsibility for everything you put into your mouth. Supplementation is one of them. Get in touch with me if you want more information on that. But look for the Cologne list, spelled the same way as in Cologne, Germany, which is where it's from, University of Cologne, and their science department. But it's also Kölner, and they have different ones and different German spellings from it. But that is the main certification you need to be looking for. So let's do a quick recap before I check and see if there's any questions. So we want hydration for sure. Make sure your strategy is there. Food variety, essential fatty acids. Remember, your body doesn't make its own essential fatty acids. You want to get those in. We want to be dumping the junk. We want to be increasing our gut health. Avoiding additives inside and out will really help alleviate and get that mental clarity back as well. Try aromatherapy. It might be your missing link. We want to reduce the stress in our lives. We want to be sleeping well. And yes, you do need supplementation. Make sure you're looking on the Cologne list. You can have further information in the 9-book series that I actually have in the books as well. But I will check to see if there's any questions in here. And we're good for questions. If you want to get in touch with me, check out my website, barbaracox.me, and send me an email through there, and I'm really happy to clarify everything. So I hope that you are going to fuel for success today. It's been really fantastic being with you. Hope you got some great points, and watch out for the recording coming out as well. And, share it with everybody. If you were to do just one of these points every month, okay, then you filled your calendar with some great health and wellness regimes that you're doing for yourself. But remember this, my final note is the 72-hour rule. My 72-hour rule is called the law of diminishing effect. That if you don't do just one action we've talked about today in the next 72 hours, the law of diminishing effect clicks in, and it means that after 72 hours, the chances of you doing any of this is absolutely zero. So get your pen and paper out, make an action of the one thing that you're going to implement, and take action, which is great. Thank you so much, everybody. Barbara Cox, and been really, really great being with you today. Take care. Bye-bye.